Hi guys, it is time for round two of the Six Nations. There's a lot of dog here. Yes, the dog is allowed into every room. We give him too much freedom, I know. Um, so it was round two, and it's time for my predictions for this week. So there were a few I nearly got right. Some Shawnee K, you got a few of them bang on. The Scotland one you called by 12. So fair play to you. If you're watching this, let me know your predictions. I want to hear them. So first we have Italy against Wales on Saturday. Then we've got England against France on Saturday, and then on Sunday we have Scotland against Ireland. Anyone remember a player for Scotland, Ewan Murray, um, who didn't play on Sundays? He was quite a decent player. I think he was a front rower, so we were always delighted when the Sunday came around because we knew he wouldn't be playing. And wasn't like the most skillful player, but just like still a mainstay in the Scottish starting team. Um, but it'll be full strength on Sunday, you'd imagine, and I think that's the big one. I mean, England against France is always massive though as well. I think we're in for a cracking weekend. I think this will be one of the best weekends that we get of rugby. It'll be the most competitive for sure. I don't think you're going to see blowout scores like you saw France against Wales. It's certainly going to be a lot tighter than that. I know Scotland didn't hammer Italy. I never said that they were going to hammer them. I said I thought that they were going to get the bonus point win and comfortably enough beat Italy. Was comfortable in the end, but they certainly made hard work of it. And I think if Ireland are taking notes, they're looking at vulnerabilities. If I'm watching that, I'm thinking, put Finn Russell under pressure. He will throw the stupid pass. He will make the mistake. If people say that I don't know what I'm talking about, he's a great player, what are you talking about? I've always said he's a great player, or has the potential to be one. I've never questioned his talent. However, he doesn't work hard, and you know what they say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and Finn Russell epitomises that. He doesn't work hard enough. He's lazy, he relies on his talent way too much. Um, he is capable of absolute brilliance. No denying that he is capable of brilliant things. Crossfield kicks, throwing the great pass, but he doesn't do the simple stuff of a fly half. And the fly half that gets their kicks and keeps the ball with their own team, that's the fly half you want in your team over some fucker who throws away the ball 5 times versus one little out the door back pass, or little loop behind the back like the All Blacks love to do. It's not a party trick. It's rugby. It's competitive rugby, and it's big games. He does that against Ireland, they'll lose the game. Trying to be non-biased, although of course I am. It's Ireland against Scotland. And Scotland and Ireland have had a lot of animosity between them. But look, it's all in good spirits. Nobody hates anyone, I hope. um, yeah, look, I'm going to just hold my hand up and say, look, I got a bit heated myself. It is rugby. It was a great weekend of rugby. Um, Jesus, really grown men acting like children, including me. So I just want to say, look, let's enjoy it. Let's try not to act like complete wankers. Though I am doing a review of the Ireland England game, which I'm uploading. I just want to say I'm uploading that because lots of England people are saying Ireland got the rub of the green and England were hard done by. That's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, that's complete and utter bullshit. There are so many incidents where England got away with an awful lot. Offside, hands in the ruck, Ellis Genge's clear out on Ty Byrne. Even if it was okay, it was never checked. So we don't know. It could have been fine. It should have been checked. It should have been put on the big screen for all of us to see, and it wasn't. So if you want to call out Caelan Doris's hit on Tom Curry, I'd be hard pressed to argue with you on that. I think, yeah, you've got a good point. My only defence would be for Caelan Doris that he is trying his damnedest to get low. Like, he's not upright. He is not like that, and Curry coming in on him, He's bent over. Curry is dipping as well, and so the chin makes contact with it. I understand, yeah. But that seems to be like a carryover of the World Cup because there were a few horrendous decisions. Um, so just to clarify that, like, if you think that Tom Curry was harshly sent off in the opening game against Argentina, he was very high. not on dope, but he was upright, and then Juan Cruz Malia came to ground. Curry was upright and made head contact. That's a red card. I think that's a red card, and I think that the Chilean captain who played against Samoa, I think it was, or was Japan? No, sorry, it was Japan. He should have gotten a red as well. So England definitely have a point there. Why did our player get a red and not this fella? So obviously that's going to cause controversy because they're dead right, but they shouldn't have gotten a lighter punishment. Your man should have gotten a more severe punishment. You know what I mean? I think that's a bit of carryover from the World Cup. Look, it's no secret that in sporting terms, even if you like English people and you have English friends, if you're Irish, Scottish, or Welsh, you just can't help but support any other team but them. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. It's not animosity, but even when I like the England team, I still have to go. Nah, can't bring myself to do it. Though I will say actually, I came very close in the 2007 World Cup, and so did my dad, to supporting England against South Africa, which is a mad one. Just because of the way the South Africans can be kind of cocky and arrogant as well, but I mean, they win stuff, so. And look, as I said, I've met loads of great people in rugby and in person. Like online, we all love to act like the keyboard warrior, don't we? So look, that bullshit, look, I'm going to try and take a breather from that, not get so. I need to take a break from it. But at the same time, like, come on. Alright, I get your point. I think Caelan Doris was lucky to escape without a yellow, but it is no more than a yellow card at best. Should have been a penalty, not disputing that. He should have gotten a penalty against him. So should Genge for that clear out on Tyg Byrne, because it looked like a dangerous clear out from what I could see. Then Freddie Stewart clearly trips up James Lowe. Now, I'm not saying that he deliberately threw himself on the ground with his feet, but he slipped and then stuck a leg out that tripped Lowe up. That's an illegal tackle. That could be a yellow card. Ollie Smith for Scotland got a yellow card for tripping up Sexton, and it was a lot less severe than that one. So there you go. That push in the lineup that they keep going on with, I thought it was soft too. Itoje brushes him. It's not clever because he got caught, but I'm amazed O'Keefe picked up on that because the stuff he didn't pick up on. But then Ireland did the same thing and were penalised for it. It was very slight. England players were quick to criticise the ref and go, oh look, they're after doing the same thing, and he evened the score. That opening try that Kelleher should have gotten, technically it's a penalty, but you see that in every game where a player's holding a leg or they're holding a jersey. I think if Itoje doesn't take that ridiculous, pathetic dive, that's not a penalty, which I think is disgraceful. If you're infringed upon, if Itoje doesn't dive and he gets a penalty given, fair enough. I kind of go, look, it's stupid by Tyg Byrne. Like, I don't think it is stupid. I think it's gamesmanship. I think it happens in rugby all the time. Itoje certainly grabs people and holds them on the ground and never has anything said. There's a clip of his other shithousery where he's holding on to James Ryan and CJ Stander. Not a penalty against him for that. So where the hell is the consistency? And you could say, yeah, but it's a try, so it has to be checked. Alright, fair enough, but if Genge comes flying into a ruck dangerously and makes head contact, that's a potential red card. Do you not think that's worthy of checking? I certainly think it is. I also thought that, and I've posted the review of the first half, I said potentially, I never said definitely, but there are 7 players offside after Ryan Baird makes a brilliant break down the right hand side of the pitch. Jamison Gibson Park, I actually think he was too honest. I thought he should have run into all those offside players. That's gamesmanship at its finest. If he takes that ball and runs into loads of offside players, who do you pick to send off? Do you award a penalty try and decide who was the most cynical? He tried to play around them, which I think was a stupid thing to do. He tried to play honestly, too honestly, and give the ball to Doris, which gave England a chance to look like they were onside, but they never got back on. Like, you have to be behind the hindmost foot, which I showed you in that video. So you have to take a step back behind that, do you know what I mean? Which they never did. and then they impacted the play. I felt like Ireland could have gotten a try had it not been for illegal acts by several offside English players. I counted 7 of them easily, and 4 of them impacted the play. Like Cowan Dickey makes part of that tackle, so does both the Curry brothers and Will Stewart, Marcus Smith as well. They're all involved in it, so they're all offside. They've never gotten back on. Why is that not a penalty try? And if you look at a penalty try, it's given because of an illegal action by a player that stops try from being scored, a probable try. You take 7 offside players out of a defensive line, a try is going to be scored when you've got 3 lads stampeding onto the ball. Gibson Barr could have run, scooted and scored, or he could have been clever about it and run into all them, or he could have given it to Doris quicker and Doris could have gone over. Ireland tried playing around them rather than milking the penalty, but it's not in their nature, which is good. And people can say, oh, they're the world's best cheats and all, like the All Blacks. They're not. They do a couple of things, yeah. Doris might slap a ball in the ruck and clever play. They didn't resort to the tactics England did. And I haven't even mentioned the worst stuff yet. Like, Cunningham South came on and was looking to be Billy Big Bollocks and put in a big shot on Hugo Keenan. He could have easily slowed himself down, made a legal big hit and hit Hugo Keenan. But he decided, he's in the air, fuck it, he's vulnerable. I want to put in a big hit and rough him up. So he smashed him in the air, which is exceptionally dangerous. Now, luckily the outcome for Keenan was alright. It could have been a lot worse. And rightfully the Ireland players shoved him and got annoyed. I don't see anything wrong with that. He deserves it. That's a dickhead move. And I would give out to any teammate that didn't call that shit out, because that was a dirty shot and everyone knew it, If it was mistimed and it was an honestly mistimed tackle, I would have gone, fair enough, he's going for the ball or whatever, and he mistimed it. He knew what he was doing, and in the context of the game, England had so many penalties given against them and advantages for being off their feet, diving over the ruck, offside, and he decides to come in with a complete cheap shot, which they were doing the whole game, and he got away with it. It was a penalty only. I feel he should have gone to the bin. I feel like Stewart could have gone to the bin for that foot trip on James Lowe, and that could have been a penalty try, as I said, in the corner. And even after that, Ben Curry plays the ball. He tries to rake it back with his hand. He goes off his feet and then lunges over the top of the ruck, slowing the ball down, killing any momentum Ireland have. Are you telling me that's hard done by? They infringed and they got penalised for it most of the time? Not enough. And then I also want to call out, there was a no-arms tackle by Caden Marley. He didn't tackle with his arms. He didn't wrap at all. It wasn't necessarily dirty, but it was badly managed. He had a bit of a howler. He scored a try, but I made a good break for another try, but he let the ball bounce. He got held up in his in goal and driven into touch. Yeah, he had like a mixed bag. I'd say 50% good, 50% bad. Certainly a lot of bad moments, and that's why he's been dropped from the England team. Yeah, he had a few howlers, but he just dived in. He didn't wrap. I didn't see a clear wrap on Jack Colan in the corner. And I felt like it was, again, at least worth a review. You can't start checking stuff and disallowing tries and then say, I'm not using the TMO for the rest of the game, when it would impact Ireland for you to do it, You've disallowed one of our tries as a result of using the TMO, and now you decide, fuck it, not using them for the rest of the game, to hell with that. Just think that's pathetic. You've got to do better. Ben O'Keefe had an absolute howler of a game. And the best incidents, and I think the ones that really warranted another looking, because everyone is giving out about James Lowe, saying, oh, he's dirty, he's always starting shit, he's always riling people up. What are you basing that off? Because that game against Wales that he speaks openly about, Liam Williams clearly shoves him in the back, unprovoked. Maybe Lowe said one or two things to him. Liam Williams is absolutely no angel. He's a cheap shot merchant. Comes in, shoves him in the back. Wouldn't you get pissed off if someone shoved you in the back? Lowe rightfully gets annoyed, shoves him away. Josh Adams comes thundering in, grabs him, and starts holding him by the jersey. And then Liam Williams, with a real cowardly act, grabs him around the neck like that and holds on to him. Again, behind his back. Like, that's just cowardly shit. But James Lowe's the one who started that, isn't he? And they said that again. I don't know how people have the audacity to say this shit. He started the whole thing with Marcus Smith. Did he really? Marcus Smith clearly puts in a late shoulder to James Lowe's head. The only reason why James Lowe didn't get injured is because he's a much bigger man than Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith's only a little pipsqueak. Good player, but a little runt, like a small little fly half. Did my head in that Six Nations documentary. The G-Wagon, and all that. Oh, so fucking cringy. Really fucking cringy. I couldn't stomach the first episode even when the England team were on. Just going around like gangsters, and you're not fucking gangsters. You're rugby players. I understand having a laugh and being lads and all that stuff, but be more like Peter O'Mahony and tend to your garden. That's better for you. You don't need all the flash cars. But he clearly comes in, and I've highlighted it in the second half review. He comes in with a late shoulder after the ball. It's clearly gone. He can see it's gone because it's on the ground. Like he can see Lowe's arms. There's no ball there. I'm sorry, you can see that. You've chosen then to come in and just have a little cheap shot. Lowe brushes 2 follicles of his hair with his hand by reaching out like that. He slaps out of him. He doesn't go and throw a dig like that, Like if he went like this, I'd be like, fair enough, he's after clearly throwing a fist. And I'd be like, even if an England player deserves a card, so does Lowe. He didn't. He reached out like that because he was pissed off. Brushes 2 of Marcus Smith's hairs. And you notice how quick the England players are in on top of him to try and bully him. Freddie Stewart tries to get on top. He's already on top of him. He's made a dominant hit. And then he lunges on top of James Lowe, who flips him over. But he's in the wrong. Explain that one to me. So if you're being held on the ground and some fella runs in and sticks a shoulder into your head when the ball is clearly gone, are you just going to let that go? I know I wouldn't. I'm not saying I'm a hard man. I'm saying I'd be pissed off and I'd go, what the fuck are you doing? That's a dirty shot. Nah, I don't like that shit, And if you're going to do it to someone, expect a fucking response, It happens in a game, but you do that stuff, expect someone to get pissed off, and don't cry like a little baby when you tried to bully the team off the field the whole game, and then you get your comeuppance. And to top it all off, I haven't gotten to the best bit. I'm getting to it now. Maro, I told you, you absolute disgrace. I don't care what anyone says. The game's over. He stamped on Mac Hansen twice, so that's disgraceful. You're the captain. You're supposed to be setting the example. Everybody. I feel like Ireland and the media are way too polished, and they just say, "Oh yeah, he's a great captain, great leader." No, scumbag stuff. You have taken your foot, stood in the player. You didn't get good enough purchase, I guess, the first time, so you thought, what, fuck it, I'll go for another one. It's obvious, it's clear as day to anyone who was watching that game. It's also clear as day that Ben O'Keefe is standing, staring right at it, who just chooses to, pretend he's not even looking. And what's the TMO doing? He was quick enough to come in and disallow the Ireland try. That's foul play. That's a yellow card minimum. So for people going that James Lowe deserved a yellow card, so did Maro Itoje and so did Marcus Smith. You take your pick. You say the players were warned not to run in. Well, Cunningham South should have gotten one for that dirty hit. Maybe Lowe should have gotten one. Maybe. I'm saying maybe. Stewart for a trip. You could have given it to him for that. You could have given it to him for also getting involved in handbags off the ball. Are you telling me that a brush of someone's hair warrants a yellow card? Is that how soft the game has gone? For me, a stamp is a deliberate act of foul play. It's a scummy thing to do. You're not necessarily injuring a player, but you know what you're doing. It's so scummy. It's real cowardly as well. That's why it deserves a card, and it deserves a sighting, I believe. Sure, if you punch someone, you do more damage, fair enough, but a punch is 2 lads having a brawl, hitting each other, unless you're going in and punching some fella behind the back of the head. Gouging someone by sticking your hand in behind and going for their fucking eyes, another cowardly act. And I feel like that's all that was missing from England's game. Ireland won, and we tend to go, we won, yeah, great. Let's let sleeping dogs lie, basically. No, I won't, because I said England's discipline would cost them, but my God, I didn't think it'd cost them that much. They were shocking, and they got away with so much. And even still, there were lots of penalties against them. They should have had at least one other man to the bin. Maybe you could argue that Caelan Doris and James Lowe, but I think that's nothing compared to England players. So let's go through who could have been sent off for England. Potentially Genge with that dirty clear out, though I think his discipline has improved a lot, to be fair. Itoje for that stamp. Stewart for either that foot trip or getting involved in handbags. Then, of course, you'd have to send Lowe off too. Smith already got a yellow card, but I feel like he came in with a cheeky little shoulder. Could have gotten another one as well. Cunningham South for that really, really cheap shot on Hugo Keane in the air, having already given loads of penalties away. That's why I'm saying it. England could consider themselves extremely lucky. And then a potential penalty try not given to Ireland. So, who was really hard done by? Just tell me that for a second. And then if Ireland said, "Oh, we were robbed," typical whinging paddies, moaning paddies all the time. Never, never stop whinging and blaming the ref. Always the ref's fault. We didn't get the rub of the grain and we still won. So, suck it up, motherfuckers. But getting back to the seriousness of the game, so England will definitely need to improve on their discipline if they want to beat the French. If they keep giving away penalties like that, the French will keep eating it up, although the French were the only ones with a red card, so they need to improve on their discipline. Like, that's a game where you are in absolute ascendancy the whole thing. The French tend to be a bit hot-headed, and their hot-headedness tends to work against them. Like, Ntamack, what are you thinking? You know, you're 70 minutes into the game, and you come in with a tucked shoulder like that, do you know what I mean? That's stupid. That's a really stupid act. You're always getting a red for that, you know. I don't think he's a big loss. I think he's an overrated player. Yeah, he's a very good player, but he tends to blow hot and cold. Anthony Boutier is still playing. I always thought he was an exceptionally good player. I don't think he's even in the squad. He's not getting a look in. Leo Barre, another player. Tomo Ramos is just such a good general from 10. I would put him in 10 all day. But you've also got Antoine Hastoy, who I prefer personally to Mathieu Jalibert. I think Jalibert's a bit too temperamental, like Ntamack. Both very good players. Both with a lot of skill. But both too hot-headed. You know, prone to a bad mistake and bad decision. Yeah, it's just, you've got to keep your discipline, you know, especially nowadays. That's the thing that I'm saying, it's nowadays. So if you think the game's gone soft, yeah, it has, but that's why I'm talking about that stamping incident. Like, to me, if you come in with a legitimate attempt to make a tackle and it goes tits up, you haven't gone in with the intention to hurt a player, but you've ended up injuring them. If you go up to gouge a player to stamp on someone, that's a deliberate act to try and hurt a player. You've gone in with the intent to hurt a player. For me, that should carry a bigger sanction. Just because you missed doesn't mean that you should get away with it, you know. But anyway, here we are. That incident with Ntamack on Ben Thomas, I think, was with a lot of intent. He did not make any effort to wrap. And he'll miss the rest of the tournament, possibly because of it, because that will get a lengthy ban. But the wingers for France, Theo Atasogby and Louis Biel-Barry, the back three for France, that's why they were in my team of the week. Yeah, no, they're exciting. If I was England, though, England kicked a lot against Ireland, right? And we would typically be better aerially than France. France looked very weak aerially. Atasogby dropped a few, so did Ramos, so did Ntamack, who was never looked ashore under a high ball. That's why I think France needs someone like Leo Barry. He's much better under the high ball than the back three that France currently have. But if I was England, and Borthwick loves a kick, this is a game where I'd say the French are clearly more skillful than us. They clearly have better players than us. But you know what? We kicked against Ireland and it didn't go too badly for us. Let's do it again. And like I said, it was very simple. It was one-up carries. So if you look at that try that they got in the first half, that's poor from Ireland. Very poor defending. As I say, for 15 minutes we conceded 19 points. For 65 we were good, but that's not good enough, you know. And then the drop off that significantly in last 5 minutes of the game and let them in for 2 tries. That's very poor. You've got to do more than that. That's on you. You can control that stuff. They switched off, and Cian Healy missed 2 tackles, and Conor Murray gave the ball back with 15 seconds to go. 2 players who we've been saying are too old and need to be gotten out of the team. And they cost us, they did. Healy missed such a bad tackle on Ollie Lawrence, where he should have just shown him back in field, but no, he stepped in. Lawrence got past him, got an offload away, and a 2-on-1 was created far too easily. And I've highlighted that in my analysis of the second half of the Six Nations game with England. If I was England, I would be saying, Marcus Smith, kick that ball high, put it up into the rafters, and test Louis Bielbury, Thomas Ramos, and Theo Atasogby. Test them. They are weak under a high ball. They dropped a few of them. If you're going to play a negative style, that would be the time to do it, because the French have the skill. If the ball is unstructured and they get rampaging, they are lethal. They are very hard to contain. England will definitely have more ability though to cope with the physicality of the French than I would say any other team in the competition. In fairness to the English, they've always had physicality, need more from George Martin. He was poor against Ireland. He wasn't good, you need him to step up. He was a passenger in that game. The back row for England though were not. Credit where it is due. Tom Curry had an absolutely outstanding game. Ben Earl was very good, but not as excellent as Ben Earl can be. Dropping a ball where I thought we should have just gone, yeah, fuck you. The way Ben Earl loves to do that obnoxious chant after a knock on, like the Saracens thing, the real English mentality of lads, lads, lads. Like James Haskell, the Hask. The real Jack the Lad mentality that English fellas have. And look, when it's in good spirits, no bother. Ran into a fair few amount of English people over in Benidorm, and they were all fine. So look, I need to remind myself it's only rugby as well. I get it. But people like Brian Moore and Austin Healy's a wind-up merchant. We know that, but all they were highlighting was what England didn't get in the Ireland game. What about what Ireland didn't get? There was a fair bit of that. We should have had a fair few decisions that we didn't get. And if nobody else is going to call it out, I'm going to call it out, because it was definitely not one-sided towards Ireland. If anything, I felt the opposite. I felt like there was that, but it's not the sole reason, because we withstood an awful lot in that game. We kept trying to bang the door down, but we got the bonus point win. But you can't switch off like that. That's not good enough, especially if you're in the Ireland camp and the levels they set for themselves. They've got to do better than that. Like letting in 2 tries in less than the last 5 minutes of the game, and one of them was with 15 seconds to go. Just one-up carries, forward after forward. You fuckers, you fat fucks, truck that ball up, and then Dan will get his score prediction right, 12 points. I nearly got it, but you fuckers lost the ball. I'm more annoyed by that than anything else, because I said the score was going to be 26-14, and it would have finished 27-50, and I would have been like, oh, I was so close, but I'm so proud of myself. I was like, fuck. You let in another try and you let me down. I looked like I knew what I was talking about, and now I have no credibility. Bastards. But, look, I feel like England can get the victory against the French. I feel like they showed me enough to think that they could. Discipline's got to get better though, guys. If you're listening to me, the reason I'm saying is because there's definite potential in that team. But you boys got to improve on that discipline. That wasn't good enough. And a harsher ref will ping it. I think France are there for the taking. I think they are very good, but they are poor aerially. They are poor aerially. Aerially in the air. Under a high ball, in the air like that. They are poor. You know what I fucking mean, right? Yeah. Good. All good in the hood. So England against France. If England give penalties away, Thomas Ramos will kick them. That's a given. He is so good. Like, he's brilliant from the kicking tee. He does not miss a thing. We missed one against Wales, but that was out wide. Most of his kicks were from out wide, and he nails them. You give away easy penalties, anything past the halfway line, Thomas Ramos is going to nail it. Even behind the halfway line, I've seen him kick them. That was range. Isn't always the best, but if it's in front of the halfway line and in England's half, Ramos will kick them. You know, 9 times out of 10 he will kick them, or 4 times out of 5, as he did against Wales. That's something England have got to be careful of. They cannot be caught offside or infringing at the breakdown as often as they were. That being said, the French love the jouet type of style, and I feel like Dupont has kind of slowed down. I see a little decline in him. And he wasn't at his best against Wales. Maybe that's because he didn't need to be, but he looked rustier than I've ever seen him. And still even at that he was brilliant. But he had moments now where I was there like, that's not like him. He was giving the ball back to Wales easily, and I thought to myself, if someone can get at him now, because France have proved that they are a completely different side without him. Even though he wasn't at his best, when he switches it on, he makes everyone look like a fool, you know. And remember, like, if you say it's Antoine Dupont, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it, because he is so good. Like, me being harsh on him is like a great game for everybody else, but he is the best 9 in the world, I think, that we've ever seen. So just to clarify, there'll never be a player like him again. When he's in that French team, they are 10 times better, maybe 100 times even. They just look more dangerous. Although Nolan, Legarec, Baptiste Saran, both very good players, you know. Legarec is a good player, but you'd rather have Ramos on kicking, of course. If I was England, I would look to the skies. Look to the sky. Especially if you're playing Freddie Stewart. Get the ball up high. Tommy Freeman's a big man as well. Challenge them in the air, because they will knock it on. You get a scrum, you get good attacking position. Ollie Lawrence crashed the ball up well against Ireland, so go for that again, you know. That's how England can beat France. It's actually a lot simpler than you think, and with a lot of kicking. Because as I said, for their first try, Smith got the ball, carried it from a poor kick from Prendergast, offloaded it. Lawrence broke through a gap far too easily. On the same side, they didn't look to move it very often, you know. It was very simple. Lawrence hit the deck. Alex Mitchell did a little scoop and a dummy. Tom Curry goes in to play scrum half, pops it up to Smith. Smith out the back to Slade. Slade chips the ball in behind, and Murley runs in and scores. That was too easy from us, and if we play like that against Scotland, just to come back to our game, we will get destroyed. I was talking to a fan, and I think he's Scottish, Bing Bong, I think is your name, but cheers for saying you like the content. Glad that you do. I don't hate Scottish people. I love Scottish people. I just think that the rugby team's a bit arrogant. Scottish people are great. Any of the ones I've met anyway. Maybe there's a few pricks out there, but I haven't met them. I just think the rugby team can get a little bit ahead of themselves, you know, and that's all I'm saying. And I think you'll agree with me. I was talking to a fella, as I said, we ended up saying eye to eye. Not I for yes, but I for Hula, which is what we call eyes in our lovely language of Oscuelga. But Mahula Garum, my eyes are blue. Oh jeez, my pupils look massive right now. Fuck, gotta get myself to bed. But before that, yeah, going to our game, because I think we know what France bring. Massive pack, a lot of skill. If they get Rampage and Miafu with big carries, Gregory Aldry being Gregory Aldry, Paul Boudon being the physical presence that he is, Francois Crowe just being Francois Crowe, doing all the work that no one sees, but you need him in that team. He's a workhorse for the French. So was Gregory Aldry. Two phenomenal back rowers, and Boudon looks like a smashing player. You know, he's really coming into his own. He led the physical tone in that team. Miafu was kind of given free rein, which I thought was good. Alexandre Ruma, kind of a line-out specialist, a loose head, second row, did all that very well. Very impressed with Jean-Baptiste Gros. Piero Movaca had more of a quiet game, but he can turn it on as well. You know, he's so good. And I've no doubt he will turn it on against the English. Weenie is Weenie. We love Weenie. Big man, lovely big smile, always happy, delighted with life, great beard as well. We love Weenie. I'm delighted we still have Weenie at Tonio for another year. What a great guy. I love him. He's such a good guy. Really big smile on his face. And when he smashed Rob Herring in that tackle, I mean, we all went, oh. Um, it First thing he did was go off to make sure he was all right, even after getting a yellow card. So you're like, respect. We know he didn't mean to hurt him. That's what I mean. Big tackle, but he clearly did not mean to hurt him. He's a big man. He's 6'5" and over 140 kilos. It's hard for him to get low. It was a bad tackle. Wayne Barnes should have stopped the game immediately because the ball came back to Herring. That's besides the point. Don't like Wayne Barnes, in case you couldn't tell. But now Weenie is a great lad, and we love him, and it's great that we have him for another year, for sure. Ollie Lawrence though, that against that midfield, like that French midfield of Yoram Moefana and Barassi, I feel like he could get at them. Definitely, you could. Lawrence carried well. Test them out. Wales didn't test them out at all, but they looked vulnerable at times, chucking the ball around a bit too much. The French do love an unstructured game, as I say, jouer. But what that means for England is with 3 open side flankers essentially on the pitch, you make your tackles, get over that ball and jackal, because they were very good at that against us. And the French do not like to ruck, they like to keep the ball alive. Maybe it's an avenue that England could look to target. If I was Borthwick, who I think is out of a job at the end of this Six Nations, if I'm not mistaken, but if I were him, I'd be going fucking hammer into that, which is ironic because I think Steve Borthwick looks like a cartoon hammer, with just the nose being dented the way it is. I actually don't mind him, but he seems like an alright guy, just quite a serious bloke, doesn't seem like a bad guy. And I think he was just starting to make the England team click, but their discipline needs to get better. I wouldn't have made Itoje captain, I've said that before. Yeah, I think he's too ill disciplined, he's too much of a mouthpiece, and you can say what you want about other people. He's a dirty player. He really is. As good as he can be, and I say can because he hasn't been at the levels everybody seems to think he's at all the time. He's dropped off significantly compared to the level he was at, and I feel like people are harping on about the player he used to be, not what he is now. Jamie George was a big loss. Even when George isn't playing his best, he's a great leader, great captain. I love the fact that when Rory Best went off for his last Ireland cap, Jamie George, credit to him, was the first man over to shake his hand and say, well done mate, well done. And I was kind of going, fair play, you seem like a good guy. And I feel like Jamie George is really good at saying, and I heard him say it before, when the England lads were getting annoyed, he was like, lads, back off, get away, go on. And, he has that leadership. I feel like Itoje gets into the niggle too much, the aggro on the pitch, and encourages it more, doesn't lead by example like Jamie George does. So you compare those two players, Jamie George tells his lads to piss off, don't be getting involved in the off the ball stuff. Maro Itoje, after the whole thing has calmed down, stamps on a player. So, and then he dives as well, trick acting and give me that, moaning to the ref. So, like, who would you rather have as a captain? I know who I'd rather have anyway, and it's not Itoje. I even feel like one of the Curry brothers could do a better job, but we'll see. They can definitely beat France if they test them aerially. There we go. In the sky. That's their best bet. Put the ball up high, make France knock it on, give you the ball back, then you crash it up with Ollie Lawrence and everybody just come around the corner, get the back row over the ball, Jacqueline, get Smith chipping in behind, stretch that French. The French team are big lads, they will tire very easily if you stretch them enough. If you allow them to make one up big hits and all, they will crush you because they are massive men. But the win is there. In terms of Ireland and Scotland, if we don't shut Finn Russell down, he can either be brilliant or he can be shocking. If we come up in his face and put him under pressure, he will give that stupid pass that he's not supposed to. He will chuck that ball like he did to Juan Ignacio Brex, handing him a try. He will just hand the ball to players. Even when the pass is not on, he will throw it. He flung the ball into touch. He's always doing stupid shit. And I feel like you've got to test him. Suffocate him like South Africa did in the World Cup in 2023. Don't want to go too far back into that. Oh, it's painful. but you've got to put him under pressure. South Africa said it before, and they're dead right. Shut down Finn Russell and you shut down Scotland. It's that simple. He's the number one playmaker. He can put. One thing I do like about Finn Russell is when he throws that pass out in front of Hugh Jones, and Hugh Jones is fucking speeding onto it. That is a dangerous weapon. Luckily for us, we don't have to deal with that with Sione Tuipulotu, because he crashes onto it and it's dangerous, and then you get an overlap because more than one player has to come in and tackle him, meaning that we get sucked in. And as I said before, Scotland are on the right to go wide. Remember I was talking about that. You should never get beaten through the middle. If you score a try out wide, fair enough. That's why having a big centre is so important, because they can crash it up. If you're a big 12, you want to be aiming at a fly half. You go, that's my man. People did it with Johnny Sexton and Ronan O'Gara all the time. When the French had their massive team, like in big backs like Aurelien Rougerie and Damien Troy, their tactic was literally, O'Gara, let's go, let's aim for him. So much so that Ireland had to put David Wallace right beside him, I feel like we'll have to do the same with Prendergast in a lot of games, because he's frail and he looks it. In fairness to him though, he put himself about, but you can see lads having to come in and cover for him, But no, credit to him, he stood up, missed 2 kicks now, I will say, and some of his kicking was a bit aimless. As I've just been singing his praise, now it's time to tear him down. But no, in fairness to him, that's a daunting task, opening game, like your first competitive proper game. I know like the November series is proper, but this is like Six Nations, this is big, there's something on the line here. And I thought he handled himself pretty well, but I think Jack Crowley is better. I think he's more experienced. I think in years to come, Prendergast will be the man, but not now. But they probably will stick with him, and I don't know, I wouldn't have done it myself. Personally, I would start Jack Crowley and have Kieran Frawley on the bench, because he can cover more positions, but I don't know. I'm not picking the team, so we have a better pack than Scotland. Hands down, we have a better pack. England are bigger and stronger. Yeah, maybe we coped with that. We did what we had to do. I think we can get at this Scotland pack. We should go for them. Italy showed that they're weak, in areas in the pack, like in the scrum. Italy looked like they had the dominance. So I think we can definitely look to get dominance against the Scottish pack, for sure. And we should. We should look to dominate them in the pack. Get after them. Porter and Ferguson, let's do it. Don't know if Bealham will be back or not. Clarkson looked solid, and I certainly fancy him up against Schoolman, if that's the case. So I think Mauls, if the line-out's gone well, which it did, great. I think Scotland could challenge us in that area, because they've got big second rows like Johnny Gray and Grant Gilchrist, who are very good in the line-out. Credit to them. Scott Cummins has been doing a great job, but Scotland have always had a pretty good line-out, and listening to Jim Hamilton, who I'm a big fan of, I really like his show. He talks about it and how he got man of the match against Ireland before, because he targeted the line-out. You could see him call and come back, and then he was nailing it every time. That's how important the line-out can be. It won him man of the match, because he put Ireland off so much. So I think if you were Scotland, that's what you'd be looking to do. I think they can compete with us at line-out time and really disrupt us, more so than England can. Scrum time, I think we'll have the advantage. I also think what we need is to get our points. Points will be scarce on Sunday. The Scots will be up for that. Bet your arse they will. I think they're going to give a much better performance than what they gave against Italy. And we should give a better performance than what we gave against England. Even though I thought, for 65 minutes we were brilliant, I will say, and some lovely rugby. Dan Sheehan is back, baby. Tyke Byrne had a great game. Andrew Porter, phenomenal. Bundy, really good. Looks a bit slower, but look, he's getting on. He's still got a brilliant solo try. James Lowe had a brilliant game. 3 assists, can't go wrong. Fair play. Gibson Park, outstanding as always. Hansen had a quiet game. Keenan, quiet game as well. The standards we've come to expect. I felt like our back row wasn't good enough. Not at all, and I don't say that often when you've got the likes of Caelan Doris, Josh van der Fleer, and Ryan Baird. Well, Ryan Baird just didn't do enough for me in general. Caelan Doris wasn't nearly in the game enough, and van der Fleer kind of went about his business quietly, but they were outdone by a better England pack, and credit where it's due, England showed them up in the pack. They really did. I feel like we were better in the tight five, but England were better in the back row. And the back row was a key position. They were getting jackal turnovers, they were carrying strong, they were making a mess of our breakdown, a lot of times illegally, as I've said. But look, to an element, you do it and you get away with it, you keep doing it. It's up to the ref to ping it. So I kind of like Ben O'Keefe should have done a better job. If you're England, you think, fair enough, we're going to keep doing it. I like playing three open sides. England have always had a good back row. That's an area they've always been strong. You look at the likes of Mark Wilson was one of my favourites. I thought he like chiseled jawline and big bicep veins. You'd Sam Underhill. You had obviously Tom Curry, Ben Curry. Now you have Ben Earl. You had Billy Vunipola, Nathan Hughes, who is a bit of a disappointment in many ways, but still a good player in his day. They've always been good. You know, Lawrence Dallaglio, Neil Back. Historically, you look at the teams, like that's where England are good. They typically have a very good back row and they have a very good one. This Six Nations, I think they should look to target France's breakdown. That'll win them the game and kick to the air. With Ireland, I think where we can beat Scotland is, as I say, Finn Russell handed Juan Ignacio Brex a try. So that's something. Put him under pressure, he gives us the ball. I sound like Jackie Charlton, put him under pressure. My mum always says that. But Bundy or Penshaw, whoever's there, Ringrose, shoot up, you know, like someone put the pressure on Russell and somebody anticipate the throw. Intercepts are on the whole game. Russell will throw a stupid pass, you can guarantee it. Italy would typically be poorly disciplined, they give away a lot of penalties. Scotland were poorly disciplined. Tommaso Allen, who was brilliant, like kicked so well in that game. He was in my team of the week, and I'll be doing the team of the week again every week. I love doing this stuff. This content is really good. I like doing it. We need to take our kicks the same way Tommaso Allen did for Italy, because points will be scarce. I don't imagine this will necessarily. Well, it could be. It could be, but I wouldn't be going out with the mindset of let's go straight to the corner. If there's kickable points, I would be thinking take your points every time they're on offer. Build a lead, and then you can start thinking about scoring tries. Give yourself a safety net. And if Prendergast kicks are like they were last Saturday, we're not going to build up a lead. He needs to be better. You can't kick loosely to that back three of Scotland. They are much better than the England back three. Duhan van der Merwe coming at speed, at pace with a distance to run. It'll take a good 3 or 4 defenders to bring him down. Darcy Graham has such a good step. They didn't really get going against Italy, but when they did get the ball, they looked dangerous and they made something happen. Blair Kinghorn, you saw that try that, or maybe you didn't, but Scotland scored a brilliant try against Australia, and literally every one of their main backs was involved. Graham with the break, Kinghorn with an offload, Russell to finish the try. He can be brilliant or he can be shocking, and let's hope he's shocking. Let's shut him down. It's a simple game plan, but one I feel will work very effectively. And then obviously our key players like Ty Byrne, Dan Sheehan, let's have them running. Let's use Jack Conan. But Scotland will cough up penalties. Russell will give the ball away stupidly. Let's put that pressure on. I almost think, in a way, it's playing kind of like England or South Africa, but it could work for us. Our defence needs to be better. They have people who will break tackles. Hugh Jones at 13 ended up my dream team because he was that good. He was so good. He splits defences open. If we come up, and I highlighted it as well, there was a few really bad reads in midfield, especially by Ryan Baird. If we shoot up and leave massive gaps, Hugh Jones is through them all day. Russell will put him into those gaps. We have got to be better in defence and not get beaten through the middle. We were beaten by Ollie Lawrence, we were beaten by Marcus Smith, and we were beaten by Ben Earl through the middle far too easily. There's not a hand laid on Ben Earl because he just was in such a massive gap. It's got to be better. It's got to be much better. But James Lowe being brilliant. I feel like he can do a job again. Hopefully Mac Hansen's better. Hugo Keenan bossing the skies. I don't think Scotland will be as much of an aerial threat as England were. We used Freddie Stewart, but Kinghorn's a big man too. He's more of a skillful player than Freddie Stewart, but he's a big lad. He could put it up for him. put Russell under pressure though, Where I said England were better in the pack, I felt, or stronger at least. Ireland have more skillful forwards, but England have bigger forwards. We've bigger forwards now, we should use them. Try and win a few scrum penalties, try and win a few rolling balls, score tries off them. We've always done that in the past. The line-out seems to be back to where it was, thank God, touch wood. Let's keep it tight, let's bully Scotland. We can bully them more than we can England, so let's go out and try and do it and beat them in Murrayfield. And then we have Italy against Wales. To be honest with you, I don't really know what to expect from Wales, because they never had the ball really against France. They showed moments where they looked dangerous, but not enough. What do I expect from Wales? Not a whole lot now. Jack Morgan will do what Jack Morgan does. He's always there grafting away, and Aaron Wainwright probably won't be in the team because he went off injured quite early. Tommy Raphael, Jack Morgan should look to get over that ball and jackal if they can. I think Juan Ignacio Brex and Tommaso Menoncello are a match for any centre partnership, if I'm being honest. Which shows you how good Hugh Jones is, that he managed to break through them. That is a really good partnership, and Ignacio Brex was in my team of the week as well, because he was that good. I had to put him in, even though him and Hugh Jones play in the same position. He was excellent, I think he will smash a few Welsh players. I think Menoncello will get the ball and cause a few scenes. And Tommaso Allen with brilliant kicking, and they also had a powerful scrum, and I think again Scotland's scrum will be better than Wales' scrum. So Simone Ferrari, Danilo Fischetti and Nicotera, I think, I don't see a good result for Wales in this one, I have to say. I don't even know where they go, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think Ben Thomas looked like a bit of a good player in midfield. A few things nearly happened, but they did not fire a shot against France. Jack Morgan and Tommy Raphael, Aaron Wainwright's not there. No Morgan Morris, who was lighting up the URC, but look, I see nothing but an Italian win. I think that'll be the most clear-cut game actually at the weekend. Will be Italy against Wales, with the Italians coming out with a comfortable enough win. I imagine. I don't see Wales getting a win. I don't think they're good enough, and I think Italy are on the up. I feel like Italy didn't get enough attacks against Scotland, but when they did, they looked dangerous. Their centre partnership is better than Wales's. Their scrum is better than Wales's. Tommaso Allen is kicking very well. I don't know how. I'm trying to find some bright sparks here. I would even go so far as to go put Dan Edwards in at 10, because he's been doing well. Let him fire a few passes around. Maybe put Ben Thomas to 12 and see how it goes. Try something. You probably won't get another chance to get a win. No, it's bleak, but that's Welsh rugby at the minute. It's not great. It's in a terrible place. So those are my reviews of the weekend, guys. So here's my scores. My markers start running out, so forgive me, but I have gone for a 28-17 win to Italy. I think they could get the bonus point against Wales, and I think it's their best chance to get one. Boost their confidence, I think they will. I think they'll dominate Wales. I don't think Wales will come out of this favourably. I think they could lose every single game, which is mad to say, but Italy for me, 28-17, Italy, Italia. I actually fancy England to beat France at the weekend. I know that's not what everybody else is saying. I saw enough signs there in a game where they were absolutely dominated by Ireland, for possession at least, or territory. They went long periods without it. When they got it though, they're one-up runners. They can break through if they get a chance. They need to keep their discipline though. You lads listening to me, there's talent there, but you boys need to stay on the pitch. Definitely enough there for me. Physicality wise, I think they're probably the only team that can really match France for that. Everybody else is struggling. England are probably the only ones up there who can, but we'll see. I've gone for a 30-point to 28 win, 2-point win for England. It's going to be a very tight game, but I do fancy England to come out of it favourably. I think England are going to win. I know that's a controversial statement. I think they will beat the French. I didn't think it before, but I'm actually looking at it thinking they could beat this French team. Aerial battle, France are not good. They knock on a lot from the high ball. I think England should target that. I think they will. They don't like to ruck the French. England should get over the ball, and Jack will be an absolute menace at the breakdown. And I think they will as well. That's their only hope of beating the French team, because I don't fancy them to get on top in scrums at all or lineouts. I think it'd be a bit 50-50. Ruma looks like a strong option, and they've got other jumpers as well. So it's England should look to kick. Jack will win the ball back, kick their penalties, and put France under pressure. Get them turned, get them tired. They've big, huge, powerful men. They've got a great bench. The bench really impressed me, especially Hugo Oradu, and then obviously Emilia and Gaetan getting a try. But yeah, look, you've got to take your advantage where you can. I think England are better in the air. France knock on a lot from high balls. They don't practice that by the looks of it, and they don't like rucking. England are good at both those things, so use them to your advantage. Then we come to Scotland v Ireland, and I think it's going to be another very tight game. Ireland are going to come out just the right side, I believe, with a 25-22 victory, 3-point win. I still think Scotland are going to come out firing. I think it's going to be a very tight game, but I fancy Ireland to take a lead into the final minutes of the game, and got to manage games better. You cannot let in the first try of the game within less than 10 minutes and then let the team score 2 tries with less than 5 minutes. That's not acceptable at this level. You've got to do better. If we switch off, this Scottish team has the backline power to really hurt us. If they get that backline going and Finn Russell floats those beautiful passes that we know he's capable of, we know you're capable of great things, Finn. Show it, just not against Ireland. Good man. He is capable of absolute brilliance. I've never said he's not. It's just that he is selfish and he lets his team down by doing stupid shit when it's not on. Take the ball into contact. You don't have to do something magical every time. We much prefer you to hold on to the ball, and I'm telling you that as a forward. When you lose the ball, it kills people like me. We're gassed. But with all due respect to Scotland, I think it's going to be a tough game. I think they're going to test us. Murrayfield, this is the big one. I actually fancy us more to beat France than I do Scotland, if I'm being perfectly honest, because we're at home to the French. Murrayfield is a fortress, and I do think Scotland are going to come out looking for blood. We've got to shut them up, we've got to play better, and we've got to manage the first 10 minutes and the final 10 minutes of the game much better. Our calibre of substitute coming on is not good enough. I've spoken about that before. Healy was sloppy, missed 2 very simple tackles, one leading to a costly try. Conor Murray with 15 seconds left, he is the closer of the game. Gibson Park speeds it up, Murray closes it down, shuts it down towards the end and slows it way down. In the same way you have Antoine Dupont speeding everything up, making everything quick, and then Maxime Lucu to come on and just say, settle it down boys, I'm on now. Slow ball, box kicking if we need it, slow passes, give it to the big men, we truck it up very slowly. That's it. That's what Murray's supposed to be doing. That's not what he did against England. He was sloppy, knocking the ball on and giving it back when you've only 15 seconds left. Shut the game down and then let Dan get his score prediction right. You fucked me on that as well. Would have been 12 points exactly, and that's what I called. And it would have only been 1 point each more than what I predicted. I was like, you fuckers, you let me down. You built my hopes up only to shit all over them. But no guys, those are my predictions. We're in for a great weekend of rugby. Absolutely. This is probably going to be the most competitive weekend, and I cannot wait. These are the best fixtures. If it's anything like the opening weekend, we're in for an absolute treat. Only thing is it's a Sunday, I know. But looks going to be good, isn't it? I cannot fucking wait. Slán go fóill.